Hey out there. This is October 24th, 2015, and it's just about exactly 10:30 in the morning, West Coast time here in Northern California. And today I wanted to get into a few things. You'll have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, but I didn't feel like doing this video, but I really, I feel compelled, and I don't review my videos, so I don't even know if I'm getting any views at all, really, to be honest with you. Nevertheless, I put them out there for one reason, and that is because I'm not hearing anybody else talk about the kind of stuff that I get into. Well, some of the stuff I get into, perhaps, but by empirical evidence, through observation, it seems to me that the things that are coming to my mind and coming out my mouth are not things I'm hearing anywhere else. Not all the things, but enough of them to keep me making videos, because I feel that the insights that I can offer anyone, if it's one person, that's enough, because that one person may be able to convey it in a more cogent, coherent, concise fashion to others and be more effective at getting the point I'm trying to make across, because I do believe the points I have to make are important points that I feel compelled to share with humanity, and these are things that I think can really value humanity, because too many people, I feel, don't spend enough time contemplating the big picture. And we get really wrapped up in this technocratically invented, nightmarish excuse for a reality. And I personally find this, quote, reality repugnant. It's because of the caliber of the illegitimate overlords, the rulers of the world, the money masters. We've got to understand fundamental economic principles. You've got to be formidably empowered through the wisdom, through the knowledge, through the understanding of basic fundamental economic principles. You've got to understand some of the teachings that were given to us by the greatest teachers that ever lived in history. And first and foremost, that would be Jesus Christ. The teachings that he gave humanity superseded all the other teachings before him and to date. And his teachings left humanity a lot of room for our imagination. And what I mean by that is, if you read the New Testament in the, I believe it's the last chapter in the book of John, he wraps it up by saying that if everything Jesus taught were written down, he supposed the whole world couldn't contain the books. In other words, there were so many teachings that he actually gave that never did make it, to be shared with humanity, that there wouldn't be enough room in the world. Of course, that was hyperbole. It had to be. But, the point is clear as an allegory, a metaphor. And, so that gives us a lot of room for our imagination. And we need to understand that we've been given that permission, not by a man, but this permission to use your brain, use your imagination, is a gift from God. And if you have a thought, you think that's very profound thought, and that's very noble, and, that's rather an epiphany. I haven't heard anybody, talk about that particular line of thinking. It's okay, that's good. Then likely you check that in, you test that thought system with the Spirit of God, and you see if it's consistent. That's all you're doing. You're saying, is it consistent? And what is the metric? What is the gauge? What is the measurement to see if it's consistent? Well, if you can think of God, this higher power, the creator, the maker, whatever this force is, this force for good, This very, very artistic, very imaginative, very miraculous force that exists, that we all have to admit exists. And one of the ways we can be reassured that this entity exists, this very good positive entity exists, is the fact that you have these invisible qualities that nobody could buy from you for any amount of money. You see, this is called your conscience, your honor, your integrity, your soul. These invisible qualities. And, a lot of people say, well, that's nonsense because I can't touch them, I can't feel them, I can't hold them, and you can't prove those things exist. Then how would you explain the fact that you wouldn't sell those things for any amount of money, your conscience? You say, you can give me the whole world, but I'm not going to do that thing you're asking me to do. So this should be very comforting to the righteous, those that struggle to have, an ounce of faith, or the mustard seed of faith, as Jesus put it. But we should all have that. And we should all understand the profound difficulty it is to be human and to live in this beast system that's just confounds and compounds what is already a very complicated journey as human beings, because we live with a great deal of discombobulation through our fallen state, the original sin, whatever you believe that might be. I believe it was inbreeding with fallen beings that we shouldn't have, and this is where death came in. This was not supposed to happen, so we have this carnal body. And as such, we already have a very difficult journey. We have a great and profound paradox we all must confront. It's like that old analogy between the good devil on one shoulder and the bad devil on the other. The good angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. And it really is like that. We've got this carnal nature, this body of death, that we so often confuse with being who we are. But it's not who we are. Who we are is an essence. It's eternal. These invisible qualities are every bit as powerful, every bit as real as anything physical. It's just in a different atomic structure. It's in a different dimension, a different realm. It's preserved forever. You see, our parents, our divine parents, don't give good things away and then take them from us. And life is a good thing. And God doesn't take those good things away from even the wicked. We must think like God thinks. We must understand that when Jesus taught that we should love our enemies, he didn't say this to be a wise guy, to no avail, to no profit. He said this because it's very important that we understand God's state of mind, how God thinks. And when we consider how we ought to think, we ought to first consider how he thinks, how our divine parents thinks, how she thinks, how they think. So in light of the fact that God loves our enemies, those that we dislike, those that we hate, as much as he loves us, then we understand that we are equal. And the only way we will ever find true peace, true joy, true contentment, true freedom, true prosperity, true happiness, true security, is by emulating him. And at the end of the day, we all have to say, you know what? God, run through my mind every person I've ever held a grudge against, by name, every person. Let me make peace with them within my heart. I want to be like you. I want to bless them genuinely, not in a pretentious manner. I don't want to honor you with my lips, but my heart being far from you. I want to be close to you. I want to grow as a person so I have something real, genuine, and valuable to offer others. So what does it mean when we bless our enemies? Well, God isn't stupid. So fundamentally we have to understand that. And he's not going to bless somebody in a manner in which they don't need to be blessed. So consider the implications of that statement and understand that if what somebody needs to do is, like Jesus said, to the rich, one warning after another he gave to the rich of the world. Give away your riches to the poor, and then you will have treasures in heaven. You see, you have an opportunity now. We all have this window of opportunity to store true treasures in heaven. By definition, we have to be clear in our mind what is true treasures from what is temporary treasures of this world, the possessions and the money and all this stuff. And understand how these things are at odds with God, that the things that are highly valued among men are detestable in the sight of God. And that the only way to rightly think about these things is the way he thinks about them. So he told the rich, he warned them over and over and over. He warned them, lest your riches rot. You see, this is what's going to happen. As we see oppression increasing seemingly without end, it seems like it's perpetual. It just keeps on coming, that the oppressors will not relent. They just keep stealing more and more of the wealth from the nation, from humanity, from civilization. They do it through unsound economic policies. And this all ties right into the teaching of the love of money being the root of all evil. Not some of the evil, not any, some, never some, all of it. So all the personal struggles we face just in being human beings and trying to exercise our right, our prerogative, our entitlement to enjoy our stinking little lives and frolic on God's green earth and enjoy this little bit of time we have here with all our might, all our heart and mind and spirit and soul, and to love one another, love our children, love our families, love strangers, and just to be happy and free and prosperous and secure and safe is so complicated, so confounded and compounded by this illegitimate gaggle of merciless thugs that sit at the top of the heap of tyranny, the heap of oppression. And understanding how these people operate is so important. Understand that there's certain things that they just won't tolerate. You see, that's why I don't have any faith in a political solution, because if there was going to be a political solution for humanity, it would have happened by now. But no, it's going to be just like Jesus predicted it would be. He said that things are going to get worse and worse. That's the way it's going to be. And it's a very sad state of affairs for humanity. He explained it, he described it as in the days of Noah, where there was all this debauchery. It was every man for himself. Very much a social Darwinian, atheistic view that, do whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. Don't care about conscience. Throw conscience out the window. The cremation of care. Go to the Bohemian Grove. That was logical. That was sensible. That was reasonable. That was pragmatic and practical. That showed common sense to just, say, look, God allows death. It's a mean God. And you know what? Just do whatever pleasures the flesh. Live for the moment. Just live for this fleeting carnal moment in time you have. And it's that same element, that same caliber, that same mentality of people today that are running our lives because they run the policy. And they're brainwashing us, all of us, even if it's a subliminal level. But you've got to understand, try your best to understand on a conscious level and see very clearly how your mind is being manipulated, how your reality is being